In this video, I'm back at the National Motor Museum of Beaulieu to drive a 1904 Dion Bouton. Stan here is going to tell me a bit about this extraordinary car, but my attire, I think I've dressed just like the motorists of old. Check out this statue of Lord Montagu of Beaulieu himself. So this is the modern equivalent, surely. It's also very, very cold. But Stan, what can you tell me about this remarkable machine that is 120 years old?
Yeah, this is a 1904 Dion Bouton Model Q. Came in various engine sizes. 6 horsepower it was most common. Yeah. And we have an example of that in the museum. But this is the big engine. This is 8 horsepower.
Oh wow!
So 25% more power. Mm-hmm. We've had this car since the 80s. And it was originally owned by a guy by the name of Leslie Willis that used to do all our coach painting and coach lining and coach repairs. In fact, he rebuilt the Silver Ghost that's in the front hall there. And this was his personal runabout for many, many years. Mm-hmm. And it used to have an extra pair of seats on the back that he had his grandchildren used to ride around.
Oh, beautiful.
And obviously he did lots of Brighton runs with this car himself.
Well, yes, it has recently done this year's run.
It's done this year's run as well. We've done numerous runs with this car. And eventually he was getting a bit elderly, so he decided to leave us the car. Mm-hmm. The family used to run it as well. His son Martin used to drive it on the Brighton run numerous times. And in fact, last time he drove it on the Brighton run, we were at the hotel and he went to start the car, and this car's got a bit of a reputation for biting people.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We'll go through the startup process.
Yeah. So on this particular date, up in London, I had 2 cars up there, the 03 Daimler and this. Mm-hmm. Martin was driving this for the last time before it was handed over to us, and it bit him. Oh. So he shook his hand for a little bit, thought that hurt a little bit, drove it down to the start, and I was with Lord Montagu in the Daimler. Mm-hmm. Got the Daimler down to the start. Went to find this, make sure Martin was okay, and he'd gone off to hospital.
Oh gosh!
And it
did bite him.
Broke his wrist in 3 places.
Oh, yeah. You have to be a bit careful with these hand cranks.
You've got to be very careful with it. And this particular car, especially, because since I've been here, it's broken 8 people's arms.
Oh, nice.
So
I might let you start it.
No. I mean, you know, it's all part of the
part
experience.
Of the experience.
Yeah. So you just got to be careful. If you set it up right, it's not a problem.
Yeah. So let's explore the power plant of the beast. We've got the radiator very much on show down here. Yeah. Very simple design. And
it requires airflow through it.
Yeah. No fan.
Cool. No fans. It does have a water pump.
Oh.
So that's quite advanced. There's your water pump. Yeah. Nice and accessible. Driven off the engine. Mm-hmm. So here you are, single cylinder. It's got what's called an atmospheric inlet valve.
Okay.
So that's under this little dome here. Mm-hmm. So there's no mechanical operation to the inlet valve at all. Yeah. It's actually the piston going down the bore sucks the inlet valve open. It's very lightly sprung.
Yeah.
It sucks it out, sucks it open, allows the fuel air mixture in, and as the piston comes up, the little light spring plus the compression holds the valve shut. Wow. So that's bouncing up and down like a yo-yo all the time. Yeah. It's got a mechanically operated exhaust valve, which is fine. So, but this isn't a high revving engine. It just plods on. If you're over revving it, you're not driving it right. Yeah.
Is that the fuel primer?
This is the carburettor.
Oh, it's a full-on carburettor.
Yeah, a little Claudel Hobson. It's actually the wrong carburettor for this car.
Oh, okay.
The original carburettor should be on this side of the engine, and there's a Dion carburettor. Mm-hmm. It's almost a surface carburettor on those, but it's very simple and effective. But this car came to us with the wrong carburettor on it, but it works perfectly all right, so we haven't bothered changing it.
If it ain't broke.
Exactly.
So what's the actual capacity of the engine?
It's 800cc.
800cc single cylinder. Yeah. Wow.
So This device here is where the points are.
Okay.
It's a trembler coil ignition system, so it's a make and break points assembly. Bit like a Model T ignition system. In fact, it's probably got a Model T coil in it, because that's what they all use these days. And you can adjust the timing from the control column via this crank here. And as I say, you must retard it when you start it.
Yes.
Because it hurts otherwise.
Yes, very much.
So fully retarded is that way, and I normally give it 3 clicks of advance, and then that's ready to go. So all you do then is turn the ignition switch on.
Should I do that one?
You can do that. That brass switch there.
There you go. Make sure
and then we obviously grab the starting handle. Now you never ever grab the starting handle with your thumb on that side.
Yeah.
Because that's the first thing that's going to hurt.
Yep.
So you always start it fully retarded, and you always pull it up. You never go round and round with it. So you just crank it as such.
So you got camera shy.
Just give it a little bit more fuel.
There we go.
And just by moving the ignition control, increases the revs.
Yeah, big difference. You can see the shaft coming out the back of the engine there, spinning round.
So the shaft goes back to a Shroud's axle underneath under the back of the car. And this is where your original Dion rear axle comes from.
Ah, independent rear suspension.
You've got the diff is actually bolt to the frame. And the axle tube for your Dion rear axle.
Gosh, just like what you later saw on things like some of the Lancias, Rover P6.
Rover P6 indeed,
Amazing.
So it has no mechanical lubrication system on this car. It's a manually operated oil pump. On the bulkhead here, you've got this pump here with a little arrow on it. That's now pointing at reservoir. So you draw some oil out of the reservoir, you rotate it to whichever you want it to go, which in this case is motor or engine. Or you can pull it out and put it into that position, which is the gearbox.
That's amazing. What a beautiful thing. And I must show you, you want to give her a few revs for the exhaust whistle?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yes, this device here is so you can warn people of your approach with a whistle.
If you have a look at the back of the car, you'll see that little thing on the end of the exhaust. When I operate the lever,
see, swishable exhausts. Many years before they seem to have become commonplace. By the way, this is your boot on the back, and it can take a fair-sized backpack, so that's always good. Oh, the bus is off on a tour. It's a Ford K-Series lorry under all that. Absolutely marvellous. We're distracting ourselves. Right, in terms of the other controls, we've got the Clarkson. So that's another way of warning people. Beautiful acetylene, would they be?
No, these are oil paraffin lamps. We'll light these up in Hyde Park, and they'll still be alight in Brighton.
Yeah. Brilliant. Fuel tank?
That is a water tank.
Oh, it's a water tank.
Oil tank that side.
Oh, so that's where you're drawing the oil from?
Yep. And under the driver's seat is the fuel tank.
Aha. Under the little flap. Got a very good mirror going on. We've got the handbrake on this side, and then this is your control of your van to retard.
That's right.
And then we've got 3 pedals that don't do what you expect at all. The middle one is the throttle. That is a later addition. It would originally have had a throttle up here underneath the advanced retard. We've got a reversing pedal, and I've entirely forgotten what the left-hand pedal does. Oh, that's brake, transmission brake.
Transmission brake.
Yeah. So that's got a band on the transmission to slow you down-ish, but frankly you're better off just using the handbrake, which operates on the rear wheels, and you can actually see it sort of pulls this band tight to give you braking. So there you go. What material is used in those?
It's a Ferrado type lining on a steel band.
Yeah, yeah.
A cast iron drum, basically. Well, it's not a drum. It's a spot. Well, it is a drum, really.
Yeah, yeah. So the one control we haven't covered yet is this one here, and this is your gear lever. So you can pull down for your lowest gear, and it gradually eases it in. You push it away for your second gear, and again it gradually builds it up. It's not like a traditional gear change with gears involved, so it takes some getting used to. And like I said, to go backwards you just push the reverser down and then you go into a high gear. So this is it, you see, when you get old cars out, people get excited.
They do.
And that's why this is a good thing to do. I'm heading straight that way. So we bring on the advance to get the revs up, and we pull down, gradually slipping our way into bottom gear, and we're away. Now I can just bring that down all the way, bring on a bit more advance.
As we're going uphill, just leave it in bottom gear.
Yeah, yeah. And then we need to slow down. Brakes. We don't need brakes. We're not going quickly enough. We just keep an eye out for traffic. Bring the ignition timing back to the retard position. And then we can get back on the advance. And then when it starts shaking, you go for top gear. And you're away, gathering pace at quite the lick, with a bus heading straight towards us. So we'll bring her back down with slipping our way back into first for a bit of engine braking. And I managed to do it without backfiring, so I'm calling that a success. Oh, the bus is very kindly waiting for us. Thank you. Love the reef on the front of the bus, that's a lovely touch. So the idea of driving this out on a road I find absolutely terrifying. There's so much to think about. So we're going to bring the speed down again with the advanced retard control, and we're going to try and do a bit of a 3-point turn. So I've got to remember to knock it down into neutral and brake. There we go. Oh, we'll leave the brake on for a moment. Reverser pedal goes down and bring the revs back up again. Handbrake off. Oh no, stay on the pedal. Not like a clutch. Oh. Trying to find the neutral position, quite tricky. So I'm now off the reverser, and we've still got the revs on. We just don't bog it too much, and we're away. Gosh, the concentration levels are quite something. So all those people who do the London to Brighton run for the veteran cars, that's cars built before 1904 or 1904 and older rather, really have their work cut out. It is quite the mission. So again, clear road ahead. give it some advance. Ease her into top. And probably give a bit of throttle as well, because we're going uphill now. Just about we're getting away with it, I'm going to say. And then she starts really getting into her stride and we're away. So it's an awful lot to think about. And we go. It's quite an extraordinary machine. It's hard to believe it's 120 years old. My foot is hovering and it doesn't need to hover. There is nothing for it to hover over really. So yeah, reversing is quite a lot to think about. But it's just that finding that neutral position. There we go. Handbrake. And we come to a stop without any drama. So let's try that reverse again. Reverse pedal down. Bring up the revs. Handbrake off. And we can do some, not exactly high speed, but we can do some reversing. And presumably it could go almost as fast backwards as forwards, which is quite terrifying. But then, if we just bring a bit of speed down, we can start slipping back into forward gear. Oh no, not enough advance. Oh, just about saved it. And we're away again. Visibility is good, I'll give it that. Keep an eye out for vans like so. Oh, it just about kept it going. Oh, he's letting us go now. Yeah, coordination. Hill start's quite difficult. Need to get some speed up. She's getting a bit warm, I think. And that's the only way of cooling the engine. What a marvellous thing. Wow, that is one of the most challenging driving experiences of my life. You drive a modern automatic, you just have no idea how involved that is to keep moving, but a brilliant experience. So huge thanks to the team at Bewley, and especially Stan for his excellent camera work, as well as guiding me through the very idiosyncratic controls of this magnificent beast. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed it very much. Don't forget you can head to the Hubnut store. Don't forget there's another video of me driving the monorail that you can watch as well. And we'll see you in a future video. Farewell.